Hi, Mel here, and today I'll be taking you with me to visit the AMEX Centurion Lounge at Los Angeles International Airport. I was nearing the end of an around-the-world trip booked with points, and I planned to stop in Los Angeles on my way home so that I could spend a few days there with my daughter. On the day I was flying back home to Chicago, I took the opportunity to check out the Centurion Lounge before my flight. Come along with me today to check it out. I'll show you the seating, the food, the amenities, and more. And I'll let you know what I think of the lounge. If you enjoy this type of content, I hope you'll hit the like button and subscribe. And with that out of the way, let's get started. American Express was the first major credit card issuer to launch a network of airport lounges around the world. The first Centurion Lounge opened in Las Vegas in 2013. And since that time, the Amex Lounge network has expanded to include lounges worldwide. The Centurion Lounge in Los Angeles opened in 2020, and at nearly 14,000 square feet, it was the largest Centurion Lounge of its kind at that point in time. Located just past the security checkpoint of LAX's Tom Bradley International Terminal, the lounge is especially convenient for passengers departing on international flights. But if you're traveling through another terminal, you can still access the lounge without having to clear security again. It's not a short walk though, so be sure to budget enough time to get back to your gate. To qualify for access to the Centurion Lounge, you must meet the following conditions. Have a personal or business Amex Platinum card and a same-day boarding pass with any airline. Or have a Delta SkyMiles Reserve card and a same-day boarding pass with Delta. In either case, cardholders may only enter within 3 hours of their same-day departing flight or any time before their connecting flight. If you meet the criteria, be ready to show your same-day boarding pass, identification, and the Amex card that provides you with access. If you don't have the physical credit card with you, don't worry because you can get an access code through the American Express app. With that out of the way, let's go find the lounge. Having checked in at Terminal 7, I headed towards the Tom Bradley International Terminal. And once there, I simply followed the signs to the Centurion Lounge. I then took the elevator down one level as instructed and proceeded straight to the check-in desk. Now that we're here, let's head in and take a look. Upon entering the lounge, the dining options are found directly to the right and the seating options to the left. I've heard a lot of opinions about the layout of this particular lounge. For whatever reason, they decided to break up the large square footage of the lounge into many smaller connected spaces. While I prefer more open spaces with high ceilings, I think the designers were aiming for more intimate spaces that allow guests to spread out. When I first arrived, the lounge was quite empty and it impressed me despite the strange layout. If I had been there when it was more crowded, I think my experience may have been very different, especially given the lack of windows and low ceiling, two things that usually really bother me. The first room you come to has several tables and one group seating area. At the head of the room is a counter with apples and fresh smoothie shots in the morning, replaced by salty snacks and fruit later in the day. The next room over offers more tables and group seating, as well as a small casual walk-up bar for cocktails and coffee, and a self-serve beverage station. Next, there's a room designed for guests who need to get some work done. There's bright overhead lighting and a large center table with task lighting and charge ports. Tables for two line the back wall, and more seating as well as a printer are on the side wall. Down the hall, you'll find the family room with an energizing color palette, but not much else to indicate that it's for families. Further down on the other side of the same hall is the Moonrise Room, which offers a nice place to rest with its dim lighting, day beds, and a starry night ceiling. U.S. lounges are suffering more and more from overcrowding, and you can see the efforts Amex has taken to try to address this. In the LAX Centurion Lounge, they've opted to place seating in every available space, including nooks and hallways. I personally don't like this and think it makes the lounge feel a bit chaotic and more crowded rather than less. Also, Amex recently took what used to be the spa room and converted it into a room for lounging. Personally, I think that this is a better use of space, and the room itself feels very peaceful. Amex also has a designated room reserved for Centurion card holders, which is a feature they often provide at their lounges. While I understand that Amex wants to provide an elevated experience for these members, I don't think I've ever seen anyone in one of these private rooms during any of my Centurion Lounge visits. I'm still okay with it, and I understand why Amex does it, but one thing I find a bit confusing is that they also provide reserved seating for those select members in other parts of the lounge. Since they already offer a private room, and overcrowding is such a common issue, this just feels like a waste of space to me. And again, I've never seen anyone using these seats. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. The dining areas and the main bar are located on the other side of the lounge and have a very different feel from the lounging areas, thanks to the high ceilings and abundance of light. The bar itself is the centerpiece, and as with most Amex lounges, the bartenders and the complimentary drinks are quite good. The food is presented buffet style, and there are tables both near the buffet and on the other side of the bar. While I like the vibe of this space, it does get crowded, especially later in the day. So if you're looking for a bit of solitude while you eat, I suggest that you head to the left of the beverage counter. There's a bright, cheerful dining area hidden back there, and I was surprised to find it completely empty. I bet you can guess where I'm going to eat later. When I first entered the lounge, breakfast was being served. As someone who loves breakfast, this was great news for me, and I was really pleased with what I saw. First things first, I was happy to see that they provided real tableware and cutlery rather than paper plates and plastic utensils. And I thought the food selections looked really appetizing. On the main buffet was a colorful selection of fresh fruit, oatmeal with toppings, soaked oats and yogurt, a modest selection of pastries, and last but not least, several interesting hot dishes, including potato chorizo hash with green chilies, scrambled eggs with ricotta cheese, sweet potatoes with honey butter, and peach clafoutis. Across the way, you'll find bagels, English muffins, and cereal. And at the same station, a variety of beverages are on offer: sparkling and still water, juice, and coffee. After I poured a cup of coffee and helped myself to the buffet, I went to the back dining room that I mentioned earlier. Again, it was completely empty, and I happily settled in to enjoy my meal and catch up on some reading. About halfway through my time in the lounge, the buffet was switched over from serving breakfast to serving lunch. And while I was too full to eat another meal, I did think that the options looked enticing. There were cold salad options and Sicilian meatball soup, but the stars of the show were the hot selections: grilled citrus chicken with chickpeas, roasted fingerling potatoes, and 2 different vegetable dishes. There were also several desserts on offer, which I always approve of. The women's restroom can be found at the end of this long hallway, which is lined with black and white photos of legendary singers and rock bands. There are 4 sinks and 5 private bathroom stalls. I was impressed with both the condition and the cleanliness of the space. In the adjacent hallway, you'll find the men's restroom, as well as 2 handicap accessible shower suites. If you want to use one, you'll need to make a reservation at the member services desk near the lounge entrance. After signing up, I received a text letting me know that the shower suite was available and that I needed to report back to the member services desk to be let in. I found the suite to be clean, generously sized, and well stocked. A sign by the door reminds guests to be considerate and limit their time in the shower suite to 15 minutes, which seems like a reasonable request to me. After all, we're all here to catch a flight. Speaking of having a flight to catch, as I mentioned earlier, the flight I needed to catch was departing from Terminal 7, which was not a short walk, so I left the lounge with plenty of time to make my way there. This seems like a good time to mention that, as always, my travel experiences are not paid for, sponsored, or discounted in any way, and nobody was informed that I was doing this review. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments. And if you've had a chance to try LAX's Centurion Lounge for yourself, I'd love to hear what you thought. Reviews are always very split on this lounge, and I have a feeling that enjoyment of the lounge is directly correlated with how busy it is. I was lucky to be there early in the day, but I'd love to hear if your experience was consistent with mine or completely different. Finally, if you enjoy this type of content, I hope you'll hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. It really helps the channel and allows me to make more videos like this one. Until next time, happy travels.